Okay, good morning. I had to do this video. I'm in the have-tos. I spoke about that on my last video, moving from the should do's to the want to's to the have-tos to the are. And this is basically an extension of that. I feel as though sometimes that I just get up and I have to, get this content onto my page so that I can start processing it. It's the way I do it. It's the way I learn. But this basically is talking more about or extending this idea of moving through the levels, of this mantra I spoke of, this always being in your should do something, moving into your want to do something, and moving into your have to side of things and beyond. And I think that's basically there is a huge part of this that is being made clearer to me the more I think about this, and it's this headspace, heart space idea that I have spoken about before. Basically, your decisions are being made in your head, and this is where all your problems can be. This is where the ego resides. There's no ego in your heart at all. So if you're making decisions from your head, then you're making it from an ego perspective, because with ego, doubt is attached, and therefore there is a fear. And there are only two emotions, those of fear and love. Okay, so basically this is moving through the levels, and I talked about people ask, well, how can I move from a should to a want to? You do it by removing the headspace idea. You do it by asking the why, and if the why is coming from your headspace, it's coming from the wrong place. The why should be coming from your heart. So, for example, if for example I said, well, okay, I should lose weight, and you say, well, how do I do that? Then it should come from a heart space. Your answer should come from, because it's good for me, my person, my body, my health. It shouldn't come from the headspace of, I'll look better in that dress. Not that I wear a dress, but I'll look better on the beach. That is a headspace. Okay, so headspace, heart space. And the other thing is this fear attached. This is when people jump to the new thing, or jump into their calling, or what it is they feel drawn to do, then there is a fear attached. There's this idea that, oh, well, what if I go and quit my job and then go and write that book? Well, it's more about coming from a heart space again. So you've got to be able to drop that fear. And really, what that fear is all about is the death of your old story. It's the idea that in the past, when you've jumped for things, it's been from a headspace, so therefore fear is attached, and therefore it's gonna come out in that particular way where it didn't work last time. If you're coming from a heart space and you say, I have to write that book, I want to write that book, just as an example, then that's where you've got to go. You've got to move into that space. It's almost like an irresistible force. There is no fear there. There is no worry or doubt attached to that. So you're coming from a heart space. And I think when you look at your life and the things that you've done in the past, generally speaking, the things that haven't worked are the ones that have come from your headspace, because ego is there, because fear is attached. And you've got to get yourself into a position where ego is gone, judgment of that is gone, and you move into something that you feel as though you have to do. And you know what? I think when you move into that space, as I feel as though I'm doing, when you move into the space where it feels right, then there is no fear of it, and you start to develop and you start to grow within that new space. So I think, I had to get this out because it's coming through. It's coming through my meditation that I'm doing, and I did put on my page last night, just as a reminder for myself, that meditation is the death of ego and the removal of judgment. And I think if you get those two things to start leaving you, then the decisions that you make going forward are going to be the right ones. Um, it's an illusion. This stuff that's gone on. If you're letting your life be controlled by the things that used to be and the way things that used to happen, then you're confusing that with trying to sort of move into a new space, and it doesn't work. Taking that old you where it didn't work, or you tried things and it didn't work, that was all ego. That was all from the headspace. Okay, start making decisions from your heart. Start making decisions that are going to be right for you, right for your health. Nothing to do with the external stories, nothing to do with the beach body, nothing to do with the dollar signs or the pound size or whatever. It's more about what you're going to do. We work, as I've said before, in this Western mindset where we say, okay, I'm going to do that, but what's in it for me? And we've got to change that mindset. Instead of what's in it for me, it's how may I serve? And that's not, being sort of sycophantic and saying, I want to do things for you per se. Although that's a big part of it. It's doing it in a way that is taking the ego out of the question, completely out of the picture. Okay, so excited. The sun is shining so brilliantly today. So I'm going to get out in it, and I'm having a great holiday so far. I'm really inspired.